Luke and Susie with you for Faith, Family, Culture. And Luke, a few months ago on social media, I was stalking one of our regular guests.
Yeah.
She's Little Miss Organised, and I was stalking her because she was selling her home.
Yeah.
And I follow anything to do with buying, selling, redecorating homes.
And I'm always intrigued at how often you're willing to confess your stalking tendencies. Like, you are the least private stalker that I know. Like, most stalkers actually try and stay hidden. No. But I was also surprised when our next guest was like very excited at the fact that you were stalking, which is not normally the response for a stalker. Like, and maybe that's why, you've just got this ability to be the wanted stalker.
Well, we're going to find out exactly what happened here for Bonnie, because it was a bit of a different situation for Little Miss Organised. And if you're looking at selling your home, she might just have some tips for you.
We're going to find out what happened to Bonnie. The stalker already knows. More next.
Spring cleaning, it's a sick, disgusting job. Sick, disgusting job, but it's gotta get done.
She is Little Miss Organised and one of the hosts of the Little Home Organised podcast. Bonnie Black joining us right now. And Bonnie, you did move recently, but the way you went about it was a bit different to most people's experience of selling their home. Tell us your story.
So when we first bought our house in 2014, it was a bit of a hovel. It was a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, and it had a family living there for 20 years, privately renting, and the landlord had not been inside the property for 8 years. And so it was in quite a state. And in fact, it turned a lot of buyers off. They barely stepped foot inside the door at the inspection before walking away. And I just rubbed my hands together with glee because I thought, oh, yes, this has got good bones. It's got great potential. So 5 years later, 3 children later, we we have finished renovating it and turned it into a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, double lock-up garage, beautiful landscaping. And then knew that we had only wanted to stay there for 5 to 7 years, and we were at the 6.5 mark at that point, and thought, yep, now's a good time to sell. We're planning our tree change on the Sunshine Coast, so let's sell the house. We've moved in with my parents temporarily while we keep searching for our block of land. And I thought, you know what? I know this house so well. I love it so much. I've put so much time into it. I can't pick an agent because we know too many of them and someone will get upset. So I thought, I'm just going to try and sell it myself. And my husband was not up for that because he didn't want the stress. And he said, I'd rather pay $10,000 on an agent than have you take this extra responsibility. And I said, look, I'd rather you pay $10,000 in massages to help me deal with the stress.
Oh. Girls got brains.
Yeah. And it worked out amazingly. We listed the house 2 hours later. Our first inquiry came through. And they inspected the next day, and we agreed on an offer the day after. So less than 48 hours, and we sold it. No agent needed.
Oh, come on. And then you still got $10,000 worth of massages to go. Okay.
That's exactly right.
So next, with Little Miss Organised, we've got to find out how you did this.
Yeah.
More as we continue with Luke and Susie.
Luke and Susie with you for Faith, Family, Culture. We're catching up with Little Miss Organised and the host of the Little Home Organised podcast, Bonnie Black, right now, who sold her home stupidly quickly, unbelievably quickly.
Within 48 hours, having done it yourself.
Without an agent, yes. Tell us how.
Okay, so I think the most important thing is when your house is decluttered and styled, it makes the selling process much easier. So we knew that we were probably going to sell in a few months, so we spent, a couple of weeks just doing those last final touch-ups, and knew a really great real estate photographer, had a friend who was really good at styling as well, kind of come in and make some last-minute suggestions. And with great photos and great description and knowing what I know about marketing, we had in mind the perfect people to purchase it. And we wanted someone who, a young couple who were going to make this their forever home, because it's in a beautiful family area. And we really wanted either a young family or people who were going to start a family there. And that's exactly who we got. And, being Brisbane, it ended up that we knew them through affiliation. And so when they came for the inspection, it was like seeing an old friend. So it was like the loveliest transaction, and they were so thrilled to have the homeowner sell it so that they could ask us lots of different questions. And they'd been looking for 6 months, and they knew straight away that this was the forever house for them. So it could not have been easier. And I'm sure it's not like that for everyone selling their home privately, but it was just such an amazing experience for us. And I would do it again in a heartbeat.
So with getting the photography and help with the styling, do you think it ultimately cost you less to invest in those things than it would have to get an agent?
Oh, absolutely. So we used a third-party online agency to do like the real estate listings and stuff, and all up our costs were about $2,500. And had we gone with an agency, our costs would have been about $20,000.
Oh,
okay. So now your husband said, "I'd rather you." Us pay $10,000, then you go through this stress. And you said, I'd rather you pay $10,000 for me to get massaged. You won. You got the sale. You proved him wrong. Has he come through with his end of the bargain to $10,000 worth of massages?
I've had one massage since then, so I don't. I've got a few more owing us.
Yeah. I think you've got some up your sleeve there. Yes.
Yeah. Around 800 or so.
I'll just keep them in the bank for when I need them.
Coming into this time, things have been unsettled financially. We know a lot of people are going to be in the position where they have to sell their home. So it might not be for everyone, like you say, but to have it out there as an option with a few little tips is really helpful. So we appreciate your time and sharing your experience with us, Bonnie. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.